My name is India, and I am the founding school leader of Thrival Academy, Indy. We are a one-year public high school in Indianapolis. We are within the IPS school district. We serve 11th grade students only, so that's the first very innovative aspect of our school. The most innovative aspect of our school is that we do cultural immersion and study abroad. So we recently returned, as in last week, from Thailand after 3 months of an immersive experience. We are free to all students who we serve, and I know there's lots of questions about how that happens. I only have 7 minutes, so I can't get into it, but feel free to ask me after. There's nothing that I could possibly say to get you to begin to understand what we do at Thrival. So instead of trying to talk about our 3 months in Thailand, we just wrapped up, I put together a quick video, and then I realized I don't have to be silent for the next 2 minutes. I can kind of talk, so I can use that time. So let me know if the music is too loud, maybe we can turn it down. So you'll see pictures here of our students who just returned from our 3 months abroad in Thailand. What I learned from the first time doing this, which was last year, is that everything that we have to do in order to prepare our students for this experience must be extraordinarily intentional. We are very intentional about preparing our students to be immersed in the academics, not only in the classroom, but as you see in the villages, in the forests, in the streets, everything around becomes our students' learning environment. We have students who come to us who had 30 to 50% attendance rates before their junior year. We have students who came to us with a GPA below a 1.5, and it's our responsibility to disrupt the toxic environment, the toxic relationship they had with their academic environment, their academic experience, and create something new for them. So I'm really proud of my teachers who also had to be disrupted. We work on implicit bias training. We talk a lot about race and privilege. As you see, we serve mostly students of color, students who have not left the Midwest, let alone left the country. And there are a lot of, let's say, biases, there are a lot of expectations that are low that teachers may have of students with these experiences. So much of what we do to prepare our students to be successful in this environment where they're eating on the floor or petting different animals, and we have students fishing. I think you just saw a picture of our students actually in a lake fishing. Our preparation phase prepared them to be successful in that, but what we noticed is that not only do we prepare them to be successful in those environments, we actually prepared them to be successful academically, we prepared them to be successful in work environments, and also to return back home to their communities and be successful there as well. So that's my cheesy little video about our students. I can move on. Okay, so when the school year begins, like right now, time is of the essence. We have 4 months to take these students who did not know one another before they entered their junior year, and we have to create a school culture that is conducive to what we believe is success for our students. We also have 4 months to prepare our students to pass the state exam that only 3% of them passed when they came to us, and they need to pass this test in order to graduate. One of the aspects of our school that we use to prepare our students is our advisory. And a lot of teachers actually don't like to hear that their school has advisory. And that's because advisory becomes a source of tension and anxiety for them. It's unstructured time where students come into the class and maybe it's tutoring, or get on your computers and pull up the Google document, and it becomes they're playing games on their computer. So what I did not want to do when designing this scope and sequence was have my teachers feel that they had no freedom at all, or that there was too much freedom and there were no expectations set. I asked myself, what is going to set our students up for success? Our students need to know themselves. I think personal identity is something that we don't talk too much about in schools. We should talk more about in schools, really because, in my opinion, bias of educators and teachers, bias of administrators, bias of community members and stakeholders actually impacts the output of our students. So we want to make sure that our students have a solid understanding of who they are, what their strengths are, and what they are able to do to impact their community. My concern was that we're going to take these students abroad, and they're going to do all these great things abroad. They're going to learn about advocacy in different communities and villages in Thailand, but then they're going to come back to their own communities and don't know how to use their strengths to impact their own communities. And as I was developing this, this is very personal, but during the time I was developing this school, I lost 3 former students and a classmate, because I'm from the east side of Indianapolis. So it wasn't just about using this opportunity to share other cultures and experiences with our students. It was about using this opportunity to truly impact the community that I grew up in, the community that my nephews and nieces live in, and that our students are going to come back to. Study abroad should not be an escape. It's not an escape for our students, and some people look at it as that, oh, they get to leave. No, we don't want them to leave and never come back. We want them to leave, learn skills, and come back and truly positively impact their community. So we work on personal identity, community advocacy, and then we come back after that cultural immersion and we teach them how to be reflective leaders. I only have 50 seconds. So we start big, we start broad with talking about culture to get our students comfortable with these conversations. And eventually we get down to talking about who we are individually and how other people's perceptions of us actually impact our output. And how do we change that? How does the teacher believing or not believing that I can do well impact how well I actually do? It's something that we want our students to learn, and our students can actually articulate that at this point. Here are some of the activities that our students did. I'm down to 16 seconds, and the outcomes of those activities. Like I said, it's a lot. I love my school. I'm very proud of the work that we do. And you see here some of the activities our students did when it comes to our identity work that we do and pushing our boundaries, and then those are the words of the current students who we have, and that is my time, right? Thank you.
All right, seriously, folks, come on now. We gotta go louder than that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's all I had to do. I don't have to present it all. So while they're queuing up the presentation, I want to tell you that I'm here to speak my truth to you today. I'm going to be very open about why I do what I do. The title of the presentation is Cathedral Building. If you think about any time you've been in a cathedral or something that was built years and years ago, centuries ago, it was hard to understand how people could devote their entire lives to something and not even see the fruition of their efforts. And also just the sense of awe when you step into a place like a cathedral. And that is what's so important, is how do we get our students in a place and our teachers in a place where they feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves and they're making a difference in the world. So we're going to start by showing a video. So roll the clip when you can, please. Traditional education and kind of how our system has worked over the decades, change is slow. We had to find a new way. We had to find a better way.
I wouldn't say school is easy, but the structure of school had always been easy for me. But what I've realized is there's no syllabus for life.
I've never been told I was stupid, but it's just I've always just told myself that because I've had like data just F after F after F to say so, and now I have something to say against that.
Does school really show your talent or how much you're worth?
I believe that we all have our individual pursuits and passions that we have a duty to share with the world.
Us being in the leadership role of you can do this, or having people motivate us saying that you can do this, not just, oh, you're just too young because you're still in high school.
I think the adult world will be shocked by what high school kids, what they're capable of if they're given the chance to do real things.
That opens up a whole world. Isn't that the dream that every teacher has for their students, is that your students become productive members of society and really go out and make a mark on the world?
By saying, I belong here and I'm willing to learn, you show that you're flexible and you're ready and you're tough and you're not afraid of challenges.
I think they expect me to work hard myself as an independent person, because when the pressure is at yourself, That's motivation, but when the pressure is from outside, that's just like stress.
I'm now in a place where I feel like I almost have the advantage because you don't have to graduate high school to kickstart your life, you can just do it right here.
So this is a trailer for a movie that was released last month called Where Students Lead, based on the CAPS model that we started in the Kansas City area and now spreading across the country. Sometimes you just got to poke the bear. We have to disrupt education. We have to disrupt the way that education has been set up over the decades. Adults have been the ones kind of in charge in the front of the room, and our students have been asked to meet the adults and their content knowledge where the adult is. We want to turn that upside down and have students lead the process of their own learning. And so, can anyone tell me what this is, what this represents? This is the process of approving new curriculum in K12, okay? That is an example. We cannot be this slow when it comes to making changes. So one of the things that we've done, one example, is the idea of rapid prototyping of curriculum. So what we do is we involve our business partners and our teachers and our K12 system to work together to be very smart about thinking through what we're providing our students and how is it relevant to high skill, high demand professions where we are. Whether that's in Kansas City where our program is, whether it's one of our 52 affiliate programs across the country. We want to set up a process that can be taken care of and run through in the matter of weeks, not the matter of a year, which is when I started in K12, I was told if I wanted to propose a new class, I better have 18 months lead time. I'm sorry, but that is not going to cut it going forward. So what is this about? How do school districts, how do public school districts make these changes? So this is what we're all about. We want to connect students to what they're passionate about and what their purpose is. We want to do that by connecting them directly with business and nonprofit partners in the community in an area where students think they might have an interest. The student then can lead their journey. They can select a real project to work on. They become a consultant to a community partner. They work a real project. It's not a simulation. It's something on the to-do list of that company or that nonprofit. By doing so, we are able to connect them, give them a sense of whether that's what they want to do or if it's a try it out, rule it out situation. All of this learning happens before they go to college, before they have to make a decision that's going to cost money and time and effort. So that is the point. And then what actually happens is you're taking a local learning approach, but you're connecting it globally. Why is that important? We can all have great programs in our local areas, but if we're not willing to connect to other nodes of innovation across the country and across the world, we are limiting the possibilities of our kids. So what we did, our program in Kansas City decided it's not okay for us just to create a world-class program in our school district. We need to connect to others and empower them to do the same thing. Our return is we get to learn and connect from the people that program connects to. So instead of just having a business community now in the Kansas City area, we are tapped into a national network of programs, 52 programs, over 100 school districts, 14 states, and a program that just launched in India. So I leave you with a couple of questions. What if? What if we ask the question, what does it mean for you to do something meaningful with your life? When the workforce was surveyed a few years ago, they were asked, are you in a job, a career, or a calling? Me as an individual in the workforce. Only 1 in 8 people said, I feel like I'm in a place of calling. I would do this work regardless of what I was paid because I love it so much. 1 in 8. That's not good enough. I want to live in a world where 100% of people in the world are living from a place of calling. The world in that environment is on fire. That's where I want to be. And why not? Why can't we do that? We have tremendous talent in this country. We have tremendous talent across the globe. Talent takes many forms, and we can absolutely do this. Cathedrals ain't cheap. That's okay. We've got time. We've got the energy. We would love for you to partner with us. If you decide to, contact information is here, and I have a sheet that I'll leave at the back. It's an orange brochure that says Where Students Lead. That's where we need to go. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Deja.
My name is Christiana.
And my name is Davina.
We're from Denver, Colorado. Me and Christiana met at Manual High School. It's like right in the heart of Denver. It's a red zone school, low graduation rate, 99% students of color. But we did have the opportunity of having the same writing teacher all 4 years. And in those 4 years, we challenged injustice within our school building, within our community, just in our lives in general. We were able to go to the radio. We were consistently asked to be in college classes, speaking to college students about the injustices that we were facing. We eventually, during our senior year, we created a writing center. It was completely student-led, and the point of it being completely student-led is that we get a say in our education, we get a say in our voice, and we want our voice to be heard. And we wanted to give that same experience to our peers. Unfortunately, we got pushed out of our high school because I feel like that we challenged the structure that was in the school because we spoke our voice, and I don't think that our administration liked us speaking our voice. So we moved out into the community a little bit after that. We had lost one of our co-founders, and it just gave us more motivation to continue, and we ended up calling it the Mardell J. Writing Center.
So, like we mentioned, it was all student-led. We wanted to show students that education is more than sitting in a classroom for 8 hours. Writing is more than just, it's more than a grade. It's more than just writing an essay and turning it in. And within 1 year of building the Writing Center, we've worked with more than 700 students, 40 schools across Denver, mostly all students of color like us, just to show them that education is important and that you do have a voice in your education, and you get to decide what you want to do and how you want to learn. And we all have our own personal stories about how working in a student-led environment and kind of just pushing educators out of the way has made a difference. So to start, I was in a concurrent enrollment class my senior year of high school, and we were facing a lot of microaggressions in the classroom. The professor didn't think we were even worthy enough of writing a simple paragraph in an essay. We would sit in class for the whole hour, and he would show us how to write an essay. And the administration didn't want to do anything about it. They just wanted us to kind of just sit through the class. We just kind of had to deal with it because we needed the class to graduate. And I was really fed up with it because I know that me and my peers were so much more than what they thought we were. So I decided to write a blog post about how I felt, and I learned so many things about how this happens across the nation. And my blog post was read by numerous people, and me and Deja were invited to speak on a panel at one of the top universities in Colorado, which is mostly white, which was it felt good to know that there was people that wanted to hear our stories, being in such a small neighborhood, being in such a small school. And we were talking to future teachers. We talked about like 3 graduate classes, and it was just nice to know that there's so much more to student-led. Like, you can achieve so much if you kind of just do your own thing and push educators out of the way. So yeah, Deja's gonna start with her story.
So I worked with a young girl. She was about the same age as my baby sister right here. She's like 13. Her name was Alexi. And when we moved out into the community, we were able to help more, not just high school kids, but we reached out to middle school kids, elementary kids. And Alexi was in middle school, and we invited her to our open house, and she was very nervous. I knew that she wanted to come. She asked her mom to bring her, and she didn't have the confidence to get up and speak. She loved watching the kids speak and speak their voices. She loved hearing it. She even wrote a lot in her notebook. And the second that I asked her to speak, she did not want to speak. And I think that has a lot to do with the school structures. Students learn different. Every student learns differently, but not every teacher teaches differently. And I think that's what the problem was. And so the point of the Writing Center being student-led is that we don't have that helicopter teacher watching over you the whole time. You're working with a student, and I was older than her, but I was still a student, and she felt more comfortable with me. And towards the end of the year, Alexi was so eager to get up, and she had the confidence. And when teachers get out of the way and let students take over of their community and take over their education, that's when students have the confidence to actually get self-involved. And then Davina's also going to tell you her story.
Hi, I'm 13 years old, and being a little sister, you're always looking up to your older sister, and so me being a little sister, that's what I do. And it was really inspiring getting to see my sister do all the things that she was doing and being a funder of the Writing Center. So I decided to join it and be part of the community design team. And I think it was just really, it's so cliche, but it was life-changing because it really made me open my eyes at such a young age of how much, the worth of education. Because like 2 months ago, I got to go to Harvard and I got to go talk to a class that they were learning about ethnic studies, and I basically got to go and tell my story, and it was just really eye-opening because I got to see that my voice is heard, that not everybody they don't just listen, but they actually comprehend what I'm saying, and it's just, it feels good to know that, you know, your voice matters, so yeah.
So basically, moral of our story is that teachers should stop being scared and let students take over their education, because when students do take over their education, it's scary, but it's scary good. And also, if we start doing that, students will be involved in more conversations like this. They will not just be on the videos. They'll be filling up these front rows right here.
Thank you.